Yeah, good. And I will, man. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. I know it's been a long day, so following up on Tom's excellent presentation, I'm lucky to kind of stand between you and dinner plans and everything else, so I appreciate you sticking around. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about making it rain and breaching the levees. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that is. My name's Casey Yerrid. So when we're talking about making it rain, we're not talking about this. We're not talking about CIA conspiracy theories, wanting to control the weather. Nope. We're not talking about Johnny Manziel, his touchdown dance. We're not talking about Drake making it rain. So what are we talking about? A rainmaker is any person who brings clients money or respect to an organization based solely on his or her association. Okay? So we want to make it rain every time that we present. We have challenges within the industry right now where our message is not being heard as clearly as it needs to be. And so hopefully this presentation will give you some tips on how to change that a little bit. Anybody know who this person is? Anybody? Okay. Father Time? Exactly. Now this is Zig Ziglar. Anybody heard that name? I don't know why it's not advancing. Not Logitech. Logitech doesn't work with mine. Murphy's Law, right? Audience. There we go. Zig Ziglar. Hey, there he is. All right. So just a quick show of hands. How many of you have ever had to give a presentation to more than 3 or 4 people at a time? Just about everybody. And Adam, you're thinking about it. I know. So this is really important, to get your message across. And Zig Ziglar basically encapsulates what a rainmaker is when he says you can have everything that you want in life. You just will help other people get what they want in life. And so that extends to presentations as well. So when you want to present something, persuade management to buy something, you want to sell your business plan, whatever it happens to be, you need the person who's listening to take some sort of an action. And that's what being a rainmaker is all about. So here's the challenge, though. We've got 30 million presentations that are happening right now. That's a lot. Think of all the trials that are going on around the world, presentations, business owners talking to angel investors and trying to get funding and all that good stuff. 70% of them statistically will miss the mark completely. So whether that is that investor doesn't quite understand what the business plan is, whether it's a person in a presentation like this that's not understanding exactly what the topic is about, from a presenter standpoint, we've missed the mark. And out of those presentations that are happening, 1/3 of them statistically will be stopped before the last slide. Either the executive says, you know what, I've heard enough, let's go move forward, or they'll say, you know what, this sucks, come back when you're ready. And so that's a challenge. If you can't get through your message, how are you going to sell the product or service that you're trying to sell? Unfortunately, it's like Sisyphean efforts. We keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Why? We need to change the way that we present. I'm not the best presenter in the world, believe me. You'll give me that feedback later, I'm sure. But look at some of this crap that passes as slide presentations. What the hell is this? University of Bristol results. Nice flowers. What's that message that you're trying to send there? Who knows? Good job, Michael Taylor, wherever you are. This slide actually won the poorest slide of 2012. You can see why. That's an actual slide. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Then you got the eye chart. This is the E&Y slide. E&Y wants to present a consulting, Big Four consulting company wants to present something, and gives you an eye chart, and you're expected to go through some of that stuff. Yeah, a little busy, but not as busy as this. That's an actual slide. Has something to do with Department of Defense, unclassified, obviously. But yeah, makes perfect sense on a 1024 by 768 resolution, doesn't it? And even famous people are famous for giving crappy presentations. This guy right here, I mean, what the heck is going on with this slide? Yes, buy my product, need more clouds, and that is a very old iMac. So let's just stop the insanity. Let's just take a reset, figure out what it is that we want to do with our presentation, and then put together some solid tactics. I mean, there's a handout up here that has all the stuff as far as links and everything like that, so if you're trying to keep notes or writing stuff down, please, by all means, grab a sheet, and the slides will be published as well. So Desmond Tutu basically says it the best, in my opinion. Don't raise your voice. Improve your argument. Don't sit there and try to jam the message down somebody's throat if it's not a tuned message. Improve the argument. What do you say we learn a little bit about making it rain? And we're going to have a little bit of fun in the rain as well. So basically, this presentation is 3 separate before, during, and after the storm, taking on the HackerCon theme for this year. Finally, a disclaimer. My way is not the perfect way. Everybody has their own methods. I'm not here to pick on anybody's presentation, except for Tom's. No. No, but seriously, what I've done is I've read a lot of material on presenting, social psychology, how people interact, communication methods, and things like that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take the cream of the crop of some of that information, boil it down to you into a 50-minute presentation. And so, by all means, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, you don't try to change your presentation and say, conspiracy told you to. All right, so let's start with some pre-presentation tips. This is before the actual presentation, all up until 4 o'clock on HackerCon Saturday when I'm doing the talk. First question that you have to ask yourself is your topic even worthy for a presentation? And it's a very critical question that you have to ask yourself. I know everybody wants to think that they have the most important message in the world to send, but maybe somebody's already saying it, and they're saying it well enough. We don't need to know another presentation on, breaking Windows 98, do we? Probably not. So if you don't have anything good to submit, don't submit. Think about that while I take a drink of water. That's not Powerade. Yay. HackerCon. All right. Number 2, don't wait until the last minute. That's kind of funny, right? Anybody who's been hanging around this weekend knows that I was doing slides up until about 12 o'clock today. So lack of preparation is going to sink or swim your presentation. If you're going to submit a CFP, why not do your presentation before you even submit the CFP? That way you don't have to rush around. I mean, the topic's the same, all the material's there. The only thing is that you get a chance to hone the message before you actually commit to it. Because the worst thing that you can do is not have a good topic, not be prepared to present, and then find yourself caught in the rain, without an umbrella. You're doing the last minute stuff and you're struggling with it. He does. Nice bike, dude. I'm sorry, did you have something? Raise your hand if you have something. Yes. You can make forensics exciting. Just putting naked images in your presentation and Like I said, do I need to scroll back to the self-righteous slide? The next tip is don't start off in PowerPoint. With your presentation, do not start off with PowerPoint. PowerPoint's a great tool, Keynote's a great tool, but they limit your flexibility. They will drop you into a design of a presentation that you won't want to be doing. And the people that do them now, you can see them, that they just started off in PowerPoint, they started building slides out, even in outline view, and before you know it, they don't really have a point of their presentation. So what I like to recommend is get away from the computer altogether. Write some notes down on paper, just some core ideas, just scribble it on a notepad, and then start with a mind map, and start building out your mind map. What you'll find if you do that is that you'll spurn some creativity in your presentation, in your topics, and you might find a better message, which again, it goes back to honing your message before you submit to your CFP. Again, mind mapping and brainstorming. I'll show you the mind map for this presentation. I'll show it to you after the presentation's over. But I have a mind map of everything that I wanted to talk about, and a lot of the resources and things that I wanted to exclude from the presentation itself, I put into the handout that you see there. And so, get your ducks in a row before you actually tackle PowerPoint. This is the best slide that I was able to find on the web for storyboarding. Put your presentation down on stick-it notes, post-it notes, stickies, whatever you want to call them, and then organize them and storyboard your story out. This is one of my pet peeves, and I don't mean to pick on anybody, but people who have 7 to 10 slides about themselves at the beginning of a presentation, it really irks me. If you really need to say who you are before the presentation, I mean, if my presentation sucks out loud, you don't care who I am. So why not wait until after the presentation to give your background or your notes about who you are? Why waste the audience's time if your presentation sucks? That's why you didn't see one for me. And there's Neil deGrasse Tyson's quote on that. So, whoa, badass over here. What does that mean? So again, who you are is speaking so loudly that I can't hear what you're saying. If you're up here to be a rock star, you're up here for the wrong reason. My opinion. Again, my opinion. So you want to inform people, and if people are interested, then you give them the opportunity to reach out to you offline or after the presentation and follow up that way. One of the things that, from a slide design perspective, bullet points. Again, Tom had some good bullet points, and he was using the PowerPoint technique of advancing them so the audience couldn't read ahead of them and stayed with them. So I applaud you on that. But people who put slides up that are just full of PowerPoint bullets like this, it's very true. People will start reading from the top. They'll read ahead of you, not listening to you. Again, you want the audience to focus on your message. You want to use your presentation screen as a tool to help you deliver your message. If you just want to put up bullet points, why not just send them a document ahead of time? Forget the presentation. Save them 50 minutes. Aristotle invented the 3-act story, or was the first known person to react to a 3-act story. As you notice in my presentation, I had the beginning, during, and after. Be a storyteller up here is the main message. People enjoy a good story. They don't want to be lectured to necessarily, but everybody likes a good story. So 3 acts. You set it up, you handle the confrontation or the challenges of the problem or the detail of your presentation, and then you wrap it up. It's been going on in films for years and years and years. It's gone on for longer than that in print. And so again, a presentation must serve only one purpose. If it tries to do more than one, it's going to be weak on both. That's Jerry Weissman. What I like to try to recommend is suggest an opening gambit. Whether it's somebody asking a question of the audience, get them engaged right away in the presentation. Get them into the mindset to listen to you. That can be done through any of those or a combination of those. Question, factoid, retrospective, anecdote, quotation, aphorism, and analogy. Any of those. From a slide design perspective, keep it simple. This is Gar Reynolds, this is Guy Kawasaki, all the famous presenters and people who do theory on slide design. They don't want you to have something incredibly difficult to read or follow along. Excuse me. Burp in there. One of the recommendations that I have, and a lot of people don't do this, is to pre-record your demos. Murphy's Law is that your demos are going to fail. And there's nothing more frustrating to an audience member than somebody expecting you to do a demo or see a specific piece of functionality and the damn thing fails. It's a big letdown. So why not take that risk out of the equation? So what if you're not the risk taker? You don't want to be the risk taker. You want to be the person that delivers the message. So pre-record your demos, time them, and incorporate them into your slide decks. Easy enough. The other thing, get yourself a presentation remote. This is not you. We don't want to be the DJ up here. We want to be able to walk around, interact with the audience, point out things as we want. I think this thing has a pointer, yeah. So, $40, $50, this is a great investment if you are somebody who does presentations as part of your job very, frequently. I found out today that the Logitech one that I have is not compatible with Mac OS X, so Logitech. Sorry, I guess we won't get any business from them. But yeah, so this one right here is a Targus. Concealed lent this one to me. I appreciate that. But again, you don't want to be fumbling around. You don't want to be coming over here and having to advance the slide and then coming back over here and talking and then going back and forth and forget it. $50, well worth it. Rehearse your presentations. I can't say this enough. And it's not just a rehearsal where you flip through the slides and you look at them and say, okay, I know what I want to say here. Actually, say it out loud. You can do it in front of the mirror. You can do it at the bar. If there's a pretty girl next to you or a pretty guy. Whatever it is. But rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Figure out how long it's going to take you to say your message and then adjust accordingly. Another one that I didn't really adhere to this week. Get a good night's sleep before the presentation. I was watching a thrilling movie called Pacific Rim until about 2 o'clock in the morning, and yeah. I'm sorry, does that hurt? All right. So now that we've talked about some of the before stuff, let's talk about during the presentation. Wherever possible, and this isn't always possible, try to encourage your audience to come up closer to you. See, way back there. Some people enjoy being at the back of the room, and that's cool and everything. But it's a lot easier to speak if you have the audience engaged to you and close to you. It just feels a lot more comfortable for most people. Scan the room with your eyes. Don't just sit there and focus on one particular person. You want to have individual conversations with everybody involved. And so that means, looking at somebody, getting consensus, kind of feel them out. Sometimes they'll give you a nod or, they'll give you kind of like a little quirk, like you don't know what they're really saying. That's cool. That's valuable feedback to have during your presentation. If you're rehearsing your presentation, you can adjust during the presentation. Bill Clinton was awesome at doing that. Every time somebody would have an individual conversation with Bill Clinton or a group conversation, they would always go back and say, you know what, it felt like I was the only one he was talking to. And so some people just have that knack, and it's more than just, Obama going like this and looking at the teleprompter. Look at the people. Get the cues from them. They'll tell you if your presentation's not going as planned. You want to make a human connection with these people. The people that you're presenting to, you guys, you girls, all thousands and millions of you in the audience, you know, you want to make that connection with them. You want them to understand you, not spend time doing capture the flags or anything like that, you know. You want them to focus on your message. Again, the point is deliver the message, right? Finally, breathe. Breathe. A lot of people will be up here, they get all nervous, they get all panicky, and they start racing. They start rushing their voice. And again, this comes with rehearsal. You're the only person that knows what's going to happen next. Nobody here knows what the next slide's going to look like. So I can just take a little breath and keep going. I don't have to make it that pronounced, but it helps. It helps slow the pace down. It helps deliver the message. This is one that I really, truly believe in. Be thankful. Be grateful to the conference organizers that have you here. You know, HackerCon, the 304 Geeks, all of our sponsors that pay for certain things in this in the conference. You know, in order to get that message across, you have to thank the people that you're doing work on behalf of. Finally, after the presentation, when you're sitting here and you're breaking down the set, ask people open-ended questions. How was the presentation? If you had to change one thing about the presentation, what would it be? Don't give them, you know, how do I do? You know, most people will lie to your face. They'll say, oh yeah, that was great. When they're really thinking, you know, I don't really want to hurt his feelings, you know. Ask the open questions. Ask them the difficult questions, because the idea is to improve your presentation and improve the message each time. So after this presentation, if you guys have any constructive feedback, you'll see that there's a mechanism to do that, as well as, you know, just talking to me and drinking water. So the other thing that really chaps my ass is people who present the same damn thing at every single conference for years. Won't name any names. Some people are more susceptible to doing this than others. Know when to retire your talk. My typical rule is I'll do a presentation once or twice, no more than that. After that, it's a different message. You're going to change it up. You're going to make it suitable to the conference that you're attending, and you want to present and improve on the message. But there's going to come a point of where diminishing returns happen. So this is my contact information. This is the indication that we're almost done with this train wreck. You can reach me at ken@kenyerrid.com. I'm Conspiracy on Twitter. And then I'm including a link here. Let me use the laser pointer, which is off of my site. Please, if you do nothing else with this information, please go out to the presentation or to the website, fill out this survey. It's anonymous for the most part. That's a good question. I didn't really test it. You can leave that in the feedback. No, it's a Lime survey, so I'm sure there's vulnerabilities out there, but you guys are a hell of a lot better at finding that stuff than I am. And then finally, I have to dedicate this presentation to a friend of mine. He's a good friend of mine. I don't know if you've ever heard of Ahmad Angel. He is Planet. Yeah, he is Planet. And this is the inspirational quote. So Ahmad, thank you very much for being you. No. He didn't mean to. He didn't mean to. So look him up on Facebook or do a Google search for him. It's pretty humorous. He's a beautiful person. Yeah. That's it. And I wanted to show you the mind map real quick before we wrap up. You couldn't see back there if it was any kind of insect. Yeah, exactly. See what I mean? Java's going, no. There we go. All right. So essentially I started this presentation with a core message. We need to do a better job of presenting our findings at security conference. Oh, there you go. Hey, oh, hey. Click. And essentially what I did is I started pulling out, questions that we should be asking. What's my point of my presentation? Things along those lines. Reasons why presentations are so sloppy, what it can do to your reputation and all that good stuff. And then talked a little bit about techniques and stuff that we covered. Handful of quotes that I thought were pretty interesting. Some of them made it in, some of them didn't. And then definitions, for people to understand. That a lot of that stuff went into this handout. So please take one if you're interested. That's all I have. Any questions? Yeah, absolutely. From a resource perspective, let me just grab one real quick. Got some reading materials out here. I got some stock image sites. I kind of define what those opening gambits are all about. Some critical questions to ask and things like that. And then the 3-act structure for storytelling is on here as well. And I'll put this out on the website as well. A color copy. They wanted 53 cents a color copy, so. Yes, absolutely. Going back to Jerry Weissman's talk. A lot of people, and this is infamous in the metric circles, when everybody's doing metrics in IT, the executives want it in a PowerPoint deck. I don't understand why, but here's a copy of a redacted metric sheet that I use. This is an Excel worksheet, and trying to put this into a PowerPoint is fruitless. I refuse to do it. So, but yeah, there's definitely a difference between the information that you're trying to communicate in a presentation versus the information that you want the audience person to take with them or to process, to read more into. So that's where the document and handout comes in. If people want more information, it's not the same exact material as the presentation, but it's something that supplements it. So hand in hand, that's the way to go. Any other questions? Who's going to be at the HackerCon party tonight? By show of hands. The Blue Parrot. Starts at, what, 7:30, is it? I'm starting now. As of, 10 minutes. I'm going to go get some more water, and I'll be stumbling around somewhere. I will be very aware later. Yeah. For $1, I'll tell you. For $5, I'll show you. And if you just go to DerbyCon, I'm feeling generous at DerbyCon for some reason. While I drink the water. All right, well, that's it. Please give me your feedback and let me know what you'd want to see more of, what I can do to improve, and what you thought was helpful for you. Thank you very much.